Building a one-on-one service-based business or one-on-one coaching business is just like dating. And I hear you when you say things like, Monique, I really don't have time to feel like, just really put a lot of effort into it and get to know someone and then it not work out and feel like I've just wasted my time. Now, in today's video, I want to give you a little bit of behind the scenes into my business, into feminine allure and the way that I work with women. And part of me was really afraid to share this with you. And I was like, should I share it? But that's really the key, the indication that I need to share it. That's the trigger for me. Like when I'm afraid to do something, that's the indication that I need to do it. So I feel like I should probably script this out. This video is going to be probably a little bit longer than the others because I'm just speaking my truth. I'm just being raw. And I think it's important that you see how I process things and you can be able to apply this to your love life. Okay. Now, a part of my fear is that if I say these things, I might push potential clients away. And if I just show up as myself, really speak my truths and let people know, be vulnerable, right? Which will serve you in your love life, really being vulnerable. You might have this fear too, where you're like, if I just show up and be myself, I'm afraid that he won't like me, that I'm going to push men away, that I'll be rejected. And I'm owning this right now. And I want you to be able to do the same thing in your life where the right people will show up for you. Okay. So, as a business owner, right. And especially in the building stages, one of the first things that the industry will tell me to do and tell people like me or in like this coaching space is to get very clear, identify who your ideal client is. Again, that's the same thing with love. Who is your ideal man? What it is that you really want to feel and experience. Now, just last week sometime, I had a conversation with a woman that I want to hire. I want her to coach me in my business and help me in this capacity. And so one of the things that she shared with me, or when she asked me, she was like, Monique, tell me about your ideal client. Now, I share with her. I was like, okay, well, she's typically a Christian woman. No, I said she's a Black woman of faith. And she was like, well, how do you know? I was like, well, you just asked me to tell you who my ideal client is. And this, so she was like, but how do you know? I was like, oh, how do I know? I was like, okay, well, she talks about it, right? She tells me, I hear her speak about God. And she might even often say, well, Monique, one of the reasons why I was drawn to you is because you do speak about God. So I know your perspective and we have this sort of same like connecting foundation. And so she was like, good. Now that's lesson number one, right? When it comes to who you want to be with, you have your list of what you want in a man, but how will you know that this man is who he is? How will you know that he is who he says he is or who you think that he is, right? So you want someone who has a good job. You want a man of a good character. You want a godly man. Well, how will you know? Beyond, well, does he go to church, right? How will you know that he has a relationship with God? Because that's what I'm hearing that you want. How will you know that? Beyond, oh, he goes to church, right? What is he speaking about? What's his language? Okay, that's lesson number one for you to takeaway number one, I should say. Now, as I was sharing with this woman, she asked me to tell her more about my ideal client. And I said, well, she probably comes from a single parent home, or she probably has a dominant mom. She feels like she really has to fend for herself and push her way through life in order to get what she wants. When it comes to work, she's really good in her job. And those skills that make her really great supervisor or manager, the flaw is that she brings that to her relationships with men, right? And wanting like that kind of results orientation that I've spoken about before. And it doesn't really work in her favor. And was a part of my story, right? Too. And not really knowing how to just relax and being able to receive and really being vulnerable. So she was like, okay, good. Then she asked me, she was like, now tell me, how does she interact with you? That's what she said. She was like, how does she interact with you though? And I was like, oh, great question. I was like, well, she pays on time. She shows up on time. She, is really ready. She wants to prioritize love. And I know that because she's is social about herself. She's very intentional about what she wants to create. And she just needs some help to get her to the next level. She wants to transform and she knows the way that she has been being isn't really serving her. So she was like, okay, good. Now I'm fast forwarding to a conversation that I had with a potential client, right? So one of the way that I make money in my business is that I have conversations with women, right? So, and then we see if we're a good fit for working together and we go from there. Now, here's why I'm saying this, because when I hear you say You don't have time to chase a man, change who you are in the process, or really give of yourself and it not work out. I could totally say the same thing, right? I could totally be like, yo, when you come on the phone with me, you should already know that you want to work with me. This is not a free coaching session, and I'm talking to these women for a long time, and I'm not closing sales, or it's not a good fit, or they're not the right type of women, right? Again, this is the fear. This is the reason why I didn't want to share this part with you, because of the fear that I might push the wrong person away. But here I am, and I'm sharing it too, right? So hopefully you can see this and really receive it without judgment. Now, on the conversation with this potential client, what I say when I usually get on the phone, and I'll say, well, hey, this is Monique Head. I'm excited to speak with you and learn more about you and to see how I might, be of service to you. How does that sound? And she was like, okay, yeah. Or it was really, I feel like I'm giving it more energy. She was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Now, fast forward when we ended the conversation, and it felt totally off to me, and I couldn't realize. I was like, why did that conversation not feel good to me? What was going on there? And I was like, she wasn't excited about me. She wasn't excited to speak to me. And I knew that a part of, I want to work with women who are as excited to speak with me, right, as I am about helping to solve their problem and helping her to get to the next side, because this is the thing that turns me on, right? This is the thing that lights me up. This is the thing if you've been following me for some time, you know that I have a law degree and I've been a teacher, but I could never really see myself committing to something as I do to what I'm doing now, if I'm being honest. So I want to speak to a woman who's excited to speak to me. And this is the same parallel that I had in my own love life. Like when I was in the dating scene, what turned me on is a man being excited about me. That was a turn on to me. Okay. So he had to call me consistently. He had to, it was a bonus. He didn't have to, but it was always great if there were gift giving, right? Because that meant that he was thinking about me in my absence. All of those things were a clue for how I wanted to interact with the man that I could see having a future with. Okay. And I want you to just think about these things for yourself too. Okay. Sorry, I was getting a little hot up in here. Look, don't judge me. I'm being industrious right now. So that's that really was the lesson. I was like, oh, this woman is not, she's not excited to speak with me. And I don't like that feeling, because we have to commit. This is a relationship. This is a partnership, right? The way that I'm helping this woman, and it has to feel good. This is important to know, because as business owners, right, especially if you're in really early stages of building a business, we kind of take what we can get, right? But after a while, when you come to a certain point where you've had some duds and you're like, okay, this is not really working. You think about, what's the growth lesson here, right? What's the growth really experience here versus being attached to the performance and the outcome and the results? And as so instead of saying in your love life, well, I just spent my time with this man, I wasted all my years and I did all this, what's the lesson for you right there? Because if you don't know what the lesson is, you're going to repeat it going forward. That's why I'm hiring this woman. And I'm like, okay, well, what's really going on here? And I haven't been totally clear. I've been stuck on this story about who this woman is, but not really clear about how she has to really interact with me, okay? And what it is that I want to feel and experience as I'm serving, being of service really in my own Christ mandate, and making sure that I am in energetic alignment. That's what it is. So when I talk about energetic alignment, this is what I'm speaking about. So here's why I'm talking about energetic alignment. So as I was speaking to the woman that I'm going to hire to coach me, she said, Monique, because I share with her conversations that I've had with some other women too. And I was like, it's cool. And so she was like, Monique, look, you can totally help these women. You totally can. But do you want to? And I was like, oh, that's such a great question. Do I want to? Oh my gosh. And I had to be honest. I was like, not really. Not really. Now, that's what you want to ask yourself, right? If you find that you are friend zoned, if you find that you are dating the same type of man, right, or you just really accepting anything because you're settling, you're afraid, you're getting to, whatever it is, it's easy and you really, like what's familiar to you, you can be with this man, but do you want to? He can be with you, but does he want to? Right? And one way to begin to change this around, especially for the woman, if you find that you're friend zone a lot, is that you have to have some excitement about you. Right? You have to have some life about you. You have to have some wits about you. Pardon me. So that when you're on the phone with people, so here's one quick tip for you. Here's a quick takeaway, another takeaway. If you have someone's name in your phone, someone that you have been communicating with for some time, and this man calls you. Don't just say hello, right? Give him some excitement. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Timothy. Hey, Michael, what's up? How you doing? What a pleasant surprise. I'm looking forward to speaking with you. It's so great to hear from you. I remember, like, even now I have girlfriends, and when I call them, they know it's me and they still talking about hello. And I'm like, hey, girl, what's going on? What you doing? You know, I have to bring the excitement to them. And then I remember, like, one of my girlfriends, every time I would call her, and I've spoken to her for some time, but when I would call her regularly, every time she get on the phone, hey, and I was so excited to speak with her and really look forward to speaking with her because she was excited to speak to me too. At least she acted like it, right? There was some sense of life about that. And it wasn't just, you know, oh, hello. Right, and then going to whatever it is. So that's the tip, because here's why this is important. Because remember that when it comes to your interactions with men are going to commit to the woman that they feel good about themselves, right? If a man feels good about himself when he's around you, you are ahead of the game, girl, right? Because you are creating the sexual tension. And I'm not talking about like sexual energy. I'm talking about the connection, the emotional triggers, the attachment that it takes to create the connection, the type of connection that leads to commitment, okay? Now, I know I said a lot, and hopefully this whole thing made sense, because I know I was just totally rambling, but I just wanted to speak from my heart. And hopefully you were able to receive that and really identify and see and receive the parallels of how building the business is like dating, right? And how we do anything is how we do everything. So it's all a practice. Okay. If you want to learn more, you can click on this thing right here, or you can click on the link below, and I can offer you a video series. Because if you want to learn more about, you know, transforming yourself, prioritizing yourself, right, getting more into your vision and your desire so that you are ready for love and you're ready to meet the right man, I want to offer you a complimentary video series. It's called Be the Woman Who Gets Everything That She Wants, especially from men. Okay. My name is Monique Head. If you like this video, like it. Leave a comment below. Let me know. I like to interact with you. Okay. See you in the next video. Take care.